Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana Actually, you can take it. All glories to the garland makers. Yes. Sundari Madhavi and her team.
You're done.
You're done. That's it.
No more flowers.
No more garlands.
You're the class now, I come. No more excuse.
Sundari Mataji is the flowers in charge in Mayapur temple, which is a big, how many tons of flowers they must use every week? A lot. And I heard from your husband, 80% are now coming from Gora village?
Radha Madhava, yes, for Radha Madhava.
For Radha Madhava, yeah. 80%.
Sometimes more, especially from your garden. You do the best job.
Oh, some service. And I don't have to do anything. Thank you all for coming again. And the gents, feel free to, sort of, the ladies are all nicely gathered here, but not to force anyone, but you're welcome to, kind of come closer. So, yesterday we had the performances by our very talented devotees. It's amazing, I think, what talent comes out on the stage. Those of you who were performing, did you enjoy doing it? Yeah? Huh?
Big time.
Big time. It literally brings Krishna Lila alive, isn't it? Yeah. So, what are we going to do today? I have some things to read. We're going to shift now quite a bit from what we've done so far. And I know it's difficult listening to reading, so I'm going to try to make it digestible. We can discuss some things. Two passages I thought to read. First is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antilila, chapter 1, in which Srila Rupa Goswami has come to Puri. I shouldn't say returned, I guess it's his first time. He's come to Puri from Vrindavan by foot, right? We take it for granted, these traveling arrangements, but that was a serious thing to travel in India 5 centuries ago. And he comes, of course, to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's meeting Mahaprabhu for the second time. Actually, third time. I think it says second, but it's come to think of it, third time. They meet initially in Ramakeli, when Lord Chaitanya inspires them to go to Vrindavan. Them means he and his older brother Sanatana Goswami. And so they make their way to Vrindavan. Meanwhile, Lord Chaitanya has also gone to Vrindavan by a different way through Jarikanda forest. And he's been in Vrindavan for 2 months, only 2 months, after traveling all that way from Puri. 2 months, he's then returning from Vrindavan to Puri, going via Prayag, as it's now again called, at the confluence of the Ganga, Yamuna, and, they say, Saraswati is also there, Triveni, where he meets Srila Rupa Goswami for 10 days, and then Rupa Goswami continues on to Vrindavan, so they're going, opposite directions. And then Lord Chaitanya continues going east to Varanasi, or as the British called it, Banaras. And there he meets Sanatana Goswami, and they meet together for 2 months. In both cases, Lord Chaitanya is giving them instructions. He's teaching them what is Krishna Bhakti in great detail. And something of what he teaches them is summarized in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in Madhya Lila chapter 19, teachings to Rupa Goswami, Madhya Lila chapters 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24, teachings to Sanatana Goswami. And then Lord Chaitanya continues on his way, and Sanatana Goswami continues on his way, Vrindavan, Puri, and then sometime later, and I don't know, this is a subject for research, how many years later, Sanatana Goswami also went to Puri, Rupa Goswami went to Puri. And while Rupa Goswami is on his way to Puri, he has been writing a drama. Maybe not while traveling, maybe while traveling, but he's been writing a drama. Oh, let's see, back up. Well, so then Rupa Goswami makes a stop in one town, one village called Satyabhamapur. Satyabhamapur. I believe it's in Odisha. Used to be called Orissa. That was the British pronunciation. Now they've changed it to the original, and the name of the state is Odisha. So Prayag, or Prayagraj, became Ahmedabad. And then, very recently, it again became Prayagraj. Don't get me into the politics there. Odisha. In Odisha, he stops in Satyabhamapur, and in Satyabhamapur, he's resting, he's taking a nap, or he's sleeping at night, and he has a dream. And in the dream, Satyabhama comes to him. And Satyabhama says, "Write a drama about me." Well, that's an interesting idea. He wakes up the next morning. Oh, I should write a drama about Satyabhama. And he continues on his way to Puri. And he's thinking to incorporate into the drama he's already writing about Krishna in Vrindavan, to incorporate Dwaraka Lila and Satyabhama. So he's thinking like that, and then he comes to Puri, and in Puri he meets Haridas Thakur, and that's significant that he first meets Haridas Thakur, because Haridas Thakur is not, he's living kind of separate. He's not going into the temple. Why? Because he's considered to be an outsider. He's considered to be outside of the, Brahminical system because of his background. Whether he was Muslim or what is not clear. One scholar I know theorizes that he was actually a Sufi peer. A peer is like a sadhu in the Islamic tradition. That he was a Sufi peer who liked to chant Hare Krishna. And he liked to chant Hare Krishna so much that the devotees the Vaishnavas were very pleased with him, and they encouraged him. Yes, keep chanting. Lord Chaitanya encouraged him. But he was not going in the temple because, socially speaking, it would not have been permitted and would have been a disturbance. Rupa Goswami went to see him first because Rupa Goswami considered himself to be similarly outcast, because he and Sanatana Goswami had been employees, very high employees, but they were employees of the king of Bengal at that time. What was his name? Yes. I knew you would. Hussein Shah, for short. I think his name is actually longer if you take all their names. It's always got Muhammad in it somewhere, Ali, and Aluddin. Yeah. In any case, so they considered themselves, if no one else did, but they considered themselves as like outcasts. So we went to Haridas Thakur. But Lord Chaitanya would visit Haridas every day, and he introduced Rupa Goswami, or he introduced all the devotees mutually. He introduced Rupa Goswami to the devotees, and the devotees to Rupa Goswami, and they all accepted him and appreciated him very much. And because of this mutual appreciation, it says, Prabhu Kripa Paya, Ruper Ananda Akar, that Rupa Goswami felt unlimited Ananda. And then, Krishnadas Kaviraj tells us that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees did the Gundicha Marjana. Gundicha Marjan, the cleaning of the Gundicha Mandir. And as we know, this is a big party. It's a cleaning party. Marjana means cleaning, in which they all join together and have fun. Remember, we're talking about play. So they're playing at cleaning Krishna's temple. And they made a game out of it. The game was, don't use any other words in communicating than Hare, Krishna, and Rama. Whatever you communicate. This gives me an idea. I don't know if this would work. We could try it. Do you want to try something? Okay, let's divide in groups of 2. Everybody has a partner. And you're just going to share with each other something about some item, either that you have with you, some physical item, maybe you have something in your bag, to share something, or if you don't have anything with you except your clothes, you can tell something about something of your clothes. Tell a history about your clothes, your dhoti, your sari, your top, your japamala. So you need to explain to the other person, but you've only got 3 words. You can gesture as much as you want. And you can do acrobatics, whatever you want. But you only have 3 words, Hare, Krishna, and Rama. Are you ready? The ladies are all ready, the guys are going. Yes, please, go ahead. Okay, you can, if you haven't already, you can switch. Who's explaining? You've already done everything?
Yes.
Okay. You understand each other perfectly. What's more to be said, right? Okay. Gaur Premanande. Okay. Well, I don't know how successful these communications were, but I saw there was a lot of laughter. It's interesting to see how much we rely on language, isn't it? We want to communicate, so we use language. Anyway, so they had the Gundicha cleansing festival, Gundicha Marjana. Prasada Kaya Haribole Sarva Bhakta Jan Daki Haridas Sarupa Harashitaman Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. I'm imitating Madhavananda Prabhu. When Haridas Thakur and Rupa Goswami saw that all the devotees were accepting prasadam and chanting the holy name of Hari, they both were greatly pleased. So Haridas Thakur and Rupa Goswami are seeing the fun that all the devotees are having, and they're pleased to see how they're enjoying it. That's what he's saying. When they received the remnants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prasadam through Govinda, they respected it, and then they both began to dance in ecstasy. So this is Rupa and Haridas Thakur as sort of, social outcasts. They were also observing themselves. They were also keeping themselves a bit apart from the other devotees. And they were not feeling frustrated, they were not feeling envious. That's what Krishnadas Kaviraj is saying. They were pleased to see the devotees enjoying. And then they were pleased when they got prasadam later than the other devotees. So these are, social considerations that were there at the time in India. Okay. On the next day, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to see Srila Rupa Goswami, the omniscient Lord spoke as follows. Krishnere bahira nahi koriha braja hoite braja chari Krishna karu na jana kahante Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So it mentioned the previous verse, the omniscient Lord. So why does he say that? Omniscient. Sarvagya Shiromani Prabhu. It says Krishna Bahir. He's telling Rupa Goswami, Krishna Bahir Nahi Kariha Braja Hoite. Do not try to take Krishna out of Vrindavan, for he does not go anywhere else at any time. Huh? Why does he say that to Rupa Goswami? Because he's omniscient. He knows that Rupa Goswami is writing a drama. And he's thinking to write a drama in which Krishna leaves Vrindavan, apparently. And so he's telling him, don't have Krishna leave Vrindavan in your drama, because he never does leave Vrindavan. So this is, he's giving a lesson, a little, you can say a little theological point he's making. Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. And, okay, but then doesn't Krishna live in Mathura? Doesn't he live in Dwaraka and so on? No. No, he doesn't. Those are expansions of the Lord as Vasudeva. Okay, he gives a verse to support this point from the Ladu Bhagavatamrita by Srila Rupa Goswami. Okay, now this is kind of a detail, but sometimes you might wonder when you're reading the Chaitanya Charitamrita that Krishnadas Kaviraj will write something in Bengali, Lord Chaitanya says, da-da-da-da-da, and then, as here, he will quote a verse in Sanskrit, and then in the purport we find out where this is from. The verse, which I haven't read yet, is from Ladu Bhagavatamrita. Oh, but wait a minute. Who wrote the Ladu Bhagavatamrita? Srila Rupa Goswami. So Lord Chaitanya is speaking to Rupa Goswami, and he's quoting from a text that Rupa Goswami wrote. Did he write it before? And how does this work? What's going on? Retrospectively, do you know what that means? It means looking back.
The same page.
Krishnadas Kaviraj is writing the Chaitanya Charitamrita many years, actually decades, after the departure of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and after the departure of Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami. And he has as his mission to bring together all the teachings of the Goswamis of Vrindavan into the Chaitanya Charitamrita for the devotees of Bengal. That's his immediate purpose of writing. And therefore he's writing in Bengali, whereas the Goswamis were writing in Sanskrit. Most of the devotees in Bengal, they cannot read Sanskrit. And so he's writing in Bengali, but he also quotes some Sanskrit verses to give it authority, what's being said. Okay, then, this comes several times in Chaitanya Charitamrita. After saying this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to perform his noontime duties, leaving Srila Rupa Goswami somewhat surprised. So noontime duties, Madhya Ane Chalila, Madhyane Chalila. Noon duties, what does that mean? Well, Brahmins, being very Brahminical, when the clock goes to 12, I don't think they had clocks back then, but they knew. They knew it's time. Okay, time to stop, whatever you're doing, go, take bath, fresh tilak, clothes, everything, chant Sandhya Vandana, which is inclusive of the Gayatri mantras, but can include many other prayers and worship. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was, even as a sannyasi, which means social connections finished, he's still following these Brahminical practices. So he says this to Rupa Goswami, don't have Krishna leave Vrindavan. And Rupa Goswami says here, somewhat surprised. Kichu vismoy hoiga. now we get to hear, by the grace of Krishnadas Kaviraj, what Srila Rupa Goswami was thinking. You want to hear what he was thinking? Prithagnataka korite satyavama agya dila janinu prithagnataka korite prabhu agya hoina. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Satyabhama ordered me to write 2 different dramas. Srila Rupa Goswami thought, now I understand that this order has been confirmed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So now he's clear about what he should do. He has to divide his drama, which was going to be 1 drama, now it's going to be 2 dramas. So, indeed, there is the Lalita Madhava is one of his dramas, and the other is called Vidagda Madhava. And he wrote a 3rd drama, Danakeli Komuri. And each of these dramas are, in effect, illustrating what he's teaching in a sort of analytical way in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Somebody's waiting to get someone's attention. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to, well, this goes on. Formerly I wrote the 2 dramas as 1 composition. Now I shall divide it and describe the incidents in 2 separate works. I shall write 2 separate invocations of good fortune and 2 different introductions. Let me think deeply about the matter and then describe 2 different sets of incidents. Oh, Prabhupada explains that Vidagda Madhava is about the pastimes in Vrindavan, and the Lalita Madhava describes pastimes in Dwaraka and Mathura. And then this goes on to, I just summarize briefly, to describe this further episode where they've cleaned Gundicha Marjana, Gundicha Mandir, and so now it's ready for Ratha Yatra, because Lord Jagannath will go to Gundicha Mandir. That's why they clean it. Because for the whole year, apparently, that temple is, there's nothing going on in that temple until Lord Jagannath comes. So they were preparing. Now it's ready, Jagannath comes and stays for 1 week in the Gundicha Mandir. Gundicha, I've been told that the word Gundicha means auntie, as in uncles and aunts, auntie. It's the place where Lord Jagannath goes to be indulged by his auntie. And so he gets fed even more than he gets fed in the Jagannath Mandir. That's what I've heard. But here the point is that on the way, during the procession, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is offering prayers to Lord Jagannath. And one prayer that he offers is, devotees are kind of looking at each other. Why is he saying that? Because he's quoting not exactly a prayer, but a little 1-verse poem, which apparently was a quite famous love poem, like mundane, romantic love poem, you know. And devotees were like, ooh, what's this about? You know, it's like if you would starts singing some popular rock song to Lord Jagannath in the Jagannath Rath Yatra in Novi Sad. Maybe I shouldn't ask. What's a popular? You won't know. What's a popular Serbian? Huh? Rama? Oh, that's a good song. We like that. Rama, Duja More. Duja.
Friend.
Duja. Moi.
My friend.
Rama, Duja Moi. So imagine, someone starts singing that, and everyone, the devotees are scratching their heads. What's this about? And apparently he was repeating it, and devotees just kind of wondered. But Lord Chaitanya was known to do strange things. But then Rupa Goswami understood what was in his mind. In Lord Chaitanya's mind was, he's in the mood of Srimati Radharani, he's praying to Lord Jagannath as Krishna, and he's expressing his feelings of separation, and it's all tied into the idea of going back to Vrindavan, because the song is saying, oh, I'm feeling so nice in your association, but we're in the wrong place. This place doesn't make it for me. I remember when we were back there at the river Reva. That was so cool. It was so sweet. That's where we should meet. Okay, so then Rupa Goswami hears this and he becomes inspired to compose a song, not a song, a verse. May take me a minute to find how far down it is. Okay, well, here's the mundane song, and this is apparently famous amongst the poeticians, the aestheticians, the Sanskrit aesthetician. Yakho marahara saeva hivarasta eva chaitrakshapas te chomilitamalati surabaya prodha kadambanila sa chaivasmi tatapi tatra surata vyapara lila vidao reva rodasi vetasi tarutale chitta samutkantate. That very personality who stole my heart during my youth is now again my master. These are the same moonlit nights of the month of Chaitra. The same fragrance of malati flowers is there. And the same sweet breezes are blowing from the Kadamba forest. In our intimate relationship, I am also the same lover. Yet still, my mind is not happy here. I am eager to go back to that place on the bank of the Reva under the Vetasi tree. That is my desire. So that's the, as I said, that's the popular song, you could say. And then here's Rupa Goswami's response to that. Priyatsoyam Krishna Sahachari Kuru-Kshetra Militas Tataham Saradha Taridam-ubayo Sangamasukam Tatapyanta Kelam Madara-murali Panchamadrishe Manome Kalindi Pulina Vipinaya Sprihayati. My dear friend, now I have met my very old and dear friend Krishna on this field of Kurukshetra. I am the same Radharani, and now we are meeting together. It is very pleasant, but I would still like to go to the bank of the Yamuna beneath the trees of the forest there. I wish to hear the vibration of his sweet flute playing the fifth note within that forest of Vrindavan. Actually, this is a verse in his Padmavali collection. Rupa Goswami made a collection of verses of his favorite verses from different authors, and that's called the Padmavali, Rupa Goswami's Padmavali. It's in there. So, but the point is, then Lord Chaitanya, sort of by accident, reads that verse of Rupa Goswami, and he is thrilled that Rupa Goswami understands his mood. And he tells this to all the devotees. Just see, Rupa Goswami understands my mood. How does he understand it? The devotees understand that he understands because of Lord Chaitanya's mercy on him. And that's quite amazing, because he's come from Vrindavan. The local devotees don't know him that well, but now they realize he's actually most close to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So all of this I'm just describing because it's a drama about the writing of a drama. And all of this is going on within another drama, which is the story of Radha and Krishna, which is being reenacted in the Jagannath Ratha Yatra by Lord Chaitanya and his followers, who are themselves denizens. They are devotees of Vrindavan who have reappeared in these as devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Isn't that cool? Oh, time is flying by. Okay. I mentioned, I believe, maybe on the first day, that I would like to visit some of the drama written in recent times by the late Tamal Krishna Goswami. In 1985, up to 1985, he was writing a drama called Jagannath Priya Nataka. And Tamal Krishna Goswami had a way about, when he did something, it was with great intensity and with great seriousness. So he became inspired. He wanted to understand about the classical Sanskrit drama tradition, and he wanted to write a drama which would have similar features, but he would write in English, not in Sanskrit. And being the person that he was able to arrange for some devotee, I don't remember who it was, to translate from Sanskrit a small work that was written by Rupa Goswami called the Nataka Chandrika. It's about drama, and it's about all the technicalities of Sanskrit drama, kind of giving the rules. So he got this devotee to write this, and then he could study it, and based on studying, then he wrote his drama. And with his drama, he included as an appendix, you won't find this there's a paperback version of his drama, which is only the drama, but in the full version, the hardbound version, I don't know if it's still available, it has an extended appendix in which all the different features from the Nataka Chandrika are explained and tied to passages within his drama. Did that make any sense? Well, it was many years ago, we went through the whole drama. I believe it was in Croatia. And I believe we had a Croatian translation of the whole thing, didn't we? Yes, Rasadari Hari is nodding. It'd be nice we could dig that out. Maybe next time we could, I don't know, go through it. Any ideas who has that? Radha Govinda has everything on his little hard drive. Anyway, I just want to give you a little taste of this. Shall I read some of this? The prologue, because we heard Rupa Goswami was saying, I'm going to write 2 dramas, and I will write separate introductions to each one. So I'm going to read some from the prologue. The prologue is it's the director of the drama comes on stage and recites poetry to the audience. And the idea is to create the sacred space of the theater in which the audience is involved and they are invited to participate. Good evening, saintly Vaishnavas, having come from far and near, to behold Chaitanya Chandra's quincentennial this year. So this was performed in Mayapur in 1986 as part of the celebration of the 500th anniversary of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance in which year? 1486, yes. May we bid you all warm welcome to the theater we've now formed, so your hearts can all be brightened and enlightened and reformed. No frivolous amusements here. prepared in careless haste, which so commonly offend all those of culture and good taste. No tragic endings dramatized that sober men would cry when they see their favorite heroes cruelly crushed by fate to die. As spring's green buds unfold and bloom, awakening hearts fresh hope, may this drama of devotion sanctify your vision's scope. Please entwine your bhakti creepers in the Tamal Krishna tree, in the Tamal desire tree. Jagannatha Priyanatakam commences presently. And then, so that's the poetry part. Notice, he says, 3 purposes for the drama. So your hearts will all be brightened, enlightened, and reformed. So there's a threefold purpose in having a drama, all of which is uplifting. So then the director says, "Here, let me bring my assistant." And he calls a female assistant by name, and the assistant enters. "Master, I am ready, but I fear the others are not." They're about to start a drama, and the assistant comes in and says, "They're not actually ready." And the audience is all there, right? And so it's like, what do we do now? And the director says, "After so many months of rehearsal, you still lack confidence?" The assistant, "This drama is totally different from those performed in the past. The parts are extraordinarily demanding and strain the limits of our memory. And there's no scenery to help create the mood. The directions call for unusually skillful expression and movement. In short, we hesitate to attempt such a daring drama when all the eyes of the world are upon us." This point about straining the memory, memorizing lines of a drama, this should not stop you from performing drama. No. Why? Because one way to perform drama, which can be very nice and very satisfying, is essentially what in America would be called radio drama. Usually radio drama is performed on radio, so you only hear in the radio, and all the performers are reading from their texts and reading dramatically, and there's probably some sound effects and so on. It's also possible to perform a drama where the audience see you reading. You can do this. You just explain in the beginning, we're going to do a radio drama, so don't mind. we're going to be here and we will perform with the help of our scripts. And it can be very nice. But the assistant here is worried. It strains the limits of our memory. Then the director says, "Would you have us disappoint such exalted personalities after I have whetted their appetite?" This word whetted in English, it means to awaken, especially taste, with regard to taste. To whet one's appetite is to awaken a desire to eat. After I've whetted their appetite, it was precisely for their pleasure that this drama was composed. For who but these devoted souls can fully relish the spiritual sentiments that are the very essence of this play? Undisturbed in mind, with senses fully alert, they can appreciate the care taken in constructing the plot, developing the characters, and portraying the subtleties of rasa. So what the director here is hinting very strongly is you, the audience, need to be qualified to see this drama. And how are they to be qualified? I mentioned the other day, sahridaya, with heart. They have to be able to fully relish the spiritual sentiments that are the very essence of the play. So this is, of course, talking about rasa. Undisturbed in mind, with senses fully alert, they can appreciate the care taken in constructing what? The plot, the developing of characters, and the portraying of the subtleties of rasa. And these are subjects which are elaborated in the appendix. And then the assistant expresses what in Indian philosophy might be called a purva paksha, an objection. She says, "But could they not have been equally satisfied by hearing a recitation of our holy scriptures? If these are such exalted souls, then they will be satisfied. We just recite Srimad Bhagavatam, yes?" And the director says, "True enough, there is no higher satisfaction. And yet, the art of drama has its special place as well. It is for this reason that our great acharyas, Srila Rupa Goswami, has written an elaborate commentary known as Nataka Chandrika, elucidating, explaining the laws of drama first set forth in the Natya Shastra of the sage Bharata. So Natya Shastra of Bharata, sometimes called Bharata Natya Shastra, is a very, very, very famous work which we hardly ever hear about, but for the poeticians, the aestheticians of the Sanskrit tradition, Bharata Muni's Natya Shastra is the textbook for writing good poetry and drama. And ever since he composed his work, he's been debated, discussed, commented, elaborated on, argued for. Bharata Natya Shastra is very important. So this is mentioned here, the Nataka Chandrika, explaining the laws of drama first set forth in the Natya Shastra of Bharata. The drama we are to perform today adheres to Srila Rupa Goswami's injunctions. And bear in mind the statement of ISKCON's founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, who predicted, quote, Krishna consciousness will be established by cultural conquest, unquote. So there was this little Purva Paksha objection. What was the objection? Yes, the devotees will be satisfied just hearing Shastra. Yes, what does the director, how does he defend having drama?
He says that this is very true, there is no higher satisfaction, but still drama has its special place.
Exactly. Drama has its special place. And then he appeals to tradition. He says, Rupa Goswami, who is calling back to Bharata Muni, and he's then referring forward to our Srila Prabhupada. He said, what did Prabhupada say? Gents? Yes, we got three of you together, got it. Krishna consciousness will be established by cultural conquest. What does that have to do with drama? Everything. Yes. Then the assistant says, this is inspiring. Your words fortify me. Then the director says, then kindly begin to satisfy these saintly Vaishnavas, who, like thirsty chakora birds with their necks stretched high, eagerly await the cloudburst of Krishna's pastimes. Like Indra, let loose your lightning bolt and emblazon the sky of our consciousness, and let the shower of your nectarian words slake our thirst. Slake means satisfy. May the blessings of the assembled Vaishnavas be our crown of success, bowed low before the lotus feet of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Tamal Krishna Maharaj could be very poetic, isn't it? And then we have some 5 verses from the assistant. Do you want to hear what she says? No? Yes. The earth's rivers are rich with jewels, her mountains lush with plants. The 6 seasons and heaven's orbs perform a rhythmic dance. 1,000 centuries men live, and those are free of fear. Satya Yuga's blessed force prevails both far and near. Saint and king combine as one, for goodness is the norm. The sun's race has reached its crest, Indradyumna has been born. Mercy, courage, steadfastness, each trait a glowing gem, adorn the king who, like the Lord, subdues demonic men. It's hard to translate. Yeah. Brilliantly bedecked, He puts other kings to shame. The monarch of Avantipur, Indradyumna, all acclaim. So this is introducing the scene. It's first of all referring to nature. It's opulence. The rivers with jewels, the mountains with plants, 6 seasons, heaven's orbs. There's like a cosmic dance going on. And when is this taking place? During Satya Yuga. Now, my sort of critical mind thinks, wait a minute, there are no kings during Satya Yuga. Treta Yuga is kings, Satya Yuga. But, you know, when you enter into the world of the drama, you don't care about things like that. It doesn't matter, it's not the point. Then he introduces the hero of the drama, the Nataka, and of course this is the king, Indradyumna, and something of his qualities are described. He is a virya, mercy, courage, steadfastness. He subdues demonic men. He's brilliantly decked out, he's dressed. He puts other kings to shame. Then the director says, there's no doubt about what you've said. With his enemies subdued and his citizens so loyal, King Indradyumna is indeed like a blazing ray of Surya. But at times, even the sun is covered by clouds. And so also it now seems is the king's unwavering disposition. Lately he shows little interest in his usual duties. Notice how he's drawing the audience into the drama. There's been an introduction, first the sort of natural scene, the time, so it's the place, the time, and the hero is introduced briefly. He's praised, but now comes a problem, an issue, a question. And that draws us in. Oh, there's a problem, what happens? And so in this way, everyone is sort of tricked into the, to be involved. So before, as a director, he was kind of speaking as director with these kind of clear distinctions. This is a performance, and we've sort of put this together in the way one does, and there's been rehearsal, and yeah, it's going to be for the benefit of this wonderful audience. The audience has been praised, but now he kind of shifts. He says, but at times even the sun is covered by clouds, and so also it now seems is the king's unwavering disposition. So it's like now there's a real king. He's no longer, a theoretical king. There's a real king who has a wavering disposition. Wavering means unsteady. Lately, he shows little interest in his usual duties. And then, from behind the scenes, we hear a voice. It's that of Vidyapati. Hey! Has this rumor become so common that it is batted about in public? Batted about means thrown here and there. So the director has spoken to the audience what one of the members of the drama is saying that, hey, that's not for everyone to hear. So now all of us, the audience, are in on a secret. That means we've been brought into some sort of confidence. And that makes us all the more eager to find out what happens, right? And the director says, that must be Vidyapati, the head priest. Come, let's hear what he is saying. Oh yes, let's hear what he is saying. That's the end of the prologue. So now everything's been set up to begin the drama. And that's where we can stop. Or what should we do? Let me jump to the appendix briefly. Premamurti, you want to? Yes.
It's so wonderful to hear such explanations of drama and poetry. But the question just came to my mind, Maharaj, and I think you are the right person to answer that. I'm not doubting the reality of our Krishna consciousness, especially Chaitanya Charitamrita and everything, but when we hear like those explanations that they were dancing on the small branches on the top of them, and that devotees in the kirtan ran over the whole village and devastated it, not in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that was from another part, but is it like that's also dramatic, like a little bit extra?
Is there some exaggeration?
Yes. Not is it true or not?
Right.
But is it exaggerated?
I would say like this. This is what one scholar several years ago referred to devotion as we understand it, bhakti. He called it the universe of feeling. The universe of feeling. So, as you said, it's not really about is it true or false in the way that we may want to think in our empirical universe, where there is historical verification and there's documentation from more than one source that verifies, and so on and so forth. That sort of is irrelevant when there's devotional katha. Then we enter into the universe of feeling, and in that universe of feeling, everything is possible. But from a philosophical perspective, we can justify that with our understanding that, by definition, Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord, is all-powerful, possessing not just one power, but infinite powers, shaktis, which he employs in wonderful ways for the purpose of enriching the universe of feeling, which he does for the purpose of reciprocation with the devotees. An example we might take from Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's mentioned that Lord Chaitanya would go with his followers around Navadvip, and there's one place, I forget what it's called, but there was a forest of mango trees, and they're having kirtan, and the devotees were getting hungry. And then Lord Chaitanya takes one mango seed, puts it in the ground, and within no time, there's a whole tree there of mangoes. And not only that, but these mangoes have no seed and no skin. Ready to eat, yes. Just add water and mix. No. So, with our skeptical minds, we will say, that's silly. That's not possible. That couldn't have actually happened. But in the universe of healing, everything is possible. And so this becomes a relishable pastime to think, to remember how the Lord reciprocates with His devotees. He wants to have a festival with them. Oh, they're hungry. No problem. Here, mangoes. Does that make sense? Yes, but is it real or is it not?
It's not about realness. I'm just saying, I know that they were ecstatic, dancing this and that, but is it just that exaggerated or a little bit?
Is it exaggerated?
Not fully, but yeah. Just like a scene, like devotees in ecstasy dancing. So are they jumping on the branches, on the trees, or they are really on the top of the twigs of, in manifesting this sluggy mind, these other, mystical powers. So.
I think the question, I understand the question, but still the mood of hearing those descriptions is not meant to be, it's not meant to lead us into that question. It's meant to lead us to the top of the trees where the devotees are dancing on the tips of the branches. It's a narrative meant to, well, I would say it like this, to stretch our imagination. Because when we say exaggeration, that means there's a kind of, what's the word? Default. We have a kind of default mentality of how things work in the world. The sun comes up in the morning and rises and then it sets, and the wind blows and people walk on the ground, and all the way the ordinary world works, you can say that's our default perception of the world. And we might want to say the world works that way because we allow it to work that way. Krishna allows it to work that way because we're expecting it to work that way. But the universe of feeling is sort of letting go of those kind of limitations to perception and saying everything is possible. And yes, it's wonderful, because if we would forget about the normal way of seeing and just describe devotees dancing on the tops of trees and so on, then we would be saying, well, yeah, so what else is new? That's life. When there's chanting Hare Krishna, then devotees dance on the top of trees, and what else was described? Like that. Or, yeah, whenever the devotees chant, then mango trees instantly grow, and without any pit and without any skin, and that's normal. No, we recognize it's not normal, and it's wonderful, and who's to say it's not possible? That's the devotional mood. Who is to say that it's that is not possible? The devotee's mood is, oh, the Lord is so wonderful. You know the story of Narada, the cobbler with his needle, and the pandit. That's a nice drama to perform. So the pandit couldn't believe that Narada found the Lord threading an elephant through the eye of a needle. He couldn't believe that. Whereas the cobbler, the shoe maker, said, of course he can do that. Why shouldn't the Lord be able to do that? He's so wonderful. And then that was his qualification for back to Godhead. Oh, he will go right away. Pandit, no, it's going to take some time. First he needs to be deprogrammed. Yeah. It's okay. In the Nataka Chandrika, the first chapter deals with Nataka Lakshanas, the general characteristics of a Nataka. What is a Nataka? A Nataka is a drama. It's explained here, a Nataka is the most complete of 10 varieties of drama described by Bhagavatam. And there's all sorts of details about specifics. It has a hero, usually of the noble type, Dhirodata. The prominent rasa is usually either conjugal or heroic. So it's either madhurya or virya. The theme should be attractive and sweet. As we heard in that prologue, no tragedies. There's no tragedy in Indian literature. Well, some theoreticians say, well, there is one tragedy, and that is the story of Karna in the Mahabharata. It's a tragic story, you can say. And, there's a lot of tragedy there. But otherwise, there's no tragedy. In the West, there's so much tragedy. Greek tragedy, everybody kills off everybody. Shakespearean tragedy, everybody kills everybody. At the end. Shakespearean drama, always in the last scene, everybody kills everybody else. They all drop dead. Yes.
What about the Ramayana?
The Ramayana?
Yeah.
No, it's not tragedy. According to the classical Ananda Vardhana, I believe it is, from the 9th or 10th century. He was a theoretician from Kashmir. Now I'm not 100% sure if he says this or if others, but he says no, the dominant rasa of the Ramayana is karuna. Karuna. It's a sad story, but it's not a tragic story. So, karuna you could translate as piteous in English. Pity, pathetic, I mean the word has a bad connotation in English, but it's it's pathos. It's not, because as I understand, the idea is tragedy means when someone dies, they're really dead. They're finished. They are no more forevermore. And that goes against Vedic, the sort of ground basic conception of our tradition, and that is the soul is eternal. So even if somebody dies, okay, it's getting late and I want to end the sandwich, but make a sandwich. There's 3 basic elements. Is it 3? Let me check. Well, okay, it starts, there's the hero, the nayaka, there's the mellow, the rasa, there's the plot, the vastu. Something has to happen in the drama, and there, as I mentioned before, there has to be some sort of problem or conflict. Has to be some issue. Otherwise, and this became a problem in the theory of drama, was how to categorize Shanta rasa in terms of drama. How do you perform a drama which is all about Shanta rasa? Everyone just kind of sits. That's not very dramatic, is it? You're not going to get a very much audience for that. Yeah, it's something else. It's a meditation event. Okay, then the structure, there's a prologue, the prastavana, and that's what we read. We read the prastavana. And there are 5 methods for concluding the prologue and ushering in the play proper. This is a very, Sanskritic way of understanding. Everything is categorized. Everything has its place. So there's 5 methods for concluding the prologue and ushering in the play proper. Do you want to know what they are? They're just technical terms. There's the katodhata, the pravartaka, the prayogatishaya, the udhatyaka, and the avalagitaka. In the Jagannath Priyanataka, the katodhata. Katodhata is used. So what does that mean? When an actor enters the stage, taking his cue from the speech just preceding his, or from the meaning which he attributes to that speech, such a commencement is called a katodhata. Oh, at this point, you're all saying, yeah, Jai, Sanskrit term. It sounds really exciting. There are people who spend their lives studying these things, and they really get into it. And it can be fascinating because there's so many finer aspects of it. But I think for now we'll stop there. And I'll just say again, thank you all who have participated in various ways. And maybe you will feel some inspiration to do some dramas yourselves. As I said, an easy way to do it, you don't need props, you need a script, everyone can have a copy of the script, and you just make a dramatic reading. You have just one rehearsal should be enough, where you read through it, you make sure you get the right, highlighting, emphasis, voice raising, going quiet. You make it, interesting, dramatic. You get into the mood of the person you're performing, and then it can be very nice. Devotees will do an experiment at your next Sunday feast program. Yeah. I always remember HH Swami used to say in the old days in New York, Henry Street, New York Temple, he said every Sunday they would do a drama, one of these like The Boatman and the Professor and other such dramas. Every Sunday they would do a different one. And every Sunday, he said, the temple was packed. So many people came, especially for the drama. Hare Krishna. Shall we sing Hare Krishna for 5 minutes? I don't know what's happening with lunch, but... Thank you all again. Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Kshetra Swami ki.
Jai.